Hello students. Today I'm going to be teaching you about the properties of triangles by the type of angles that they have inside and by the type of side lengths that they have. If you remember from 6th grade, remember that any angle that is acute, triangle that has acute angles is called an acute triangle. Anything with a right angle in it will be a right triangle. And any triangle with an obtuse an angle greater than 90 degrees will be an obtuse angle. Okay, so basically these three triangles are classified by type of angle. Okay, now there's also another way to classify triangles is by the type of side lengths or line segments that they have here. For example, this one is called a scalene triangle. That means that no congruent side lengths. And this is a new vocabulary that you're going to learn today. It's called congruent. Congruent basically means equal. But we use it more in a sense of when something that you cannot quantify. For example, you can say that this one is more than that. If there's no numbers involved, but we know that something is equal, for example, these two lengths here, you know that these two lengths are equal, so they are called congruent, since there's nothing that we can use to actually quantify or give it a number. Until you see actual numbers, you see equal. Since there's nothing to compare here, then we use the word congruent. Now this tick mark right here means, if you can look at your side note here, congruent segments. The tick marks on the sides of the triangle indicate that those sides are congruent, meaning they are the same or equal. So in this case, these two tick marks here tell you that this side and this side are equal. Therefore, if you have two sides that are congruent, then you have an isosceles triangle. And in this case, you have double tick marks, but they repeat on all sides. That means that all these sides are all the same length. So if you have three congruent sides, then you have an equilateral triangle. Equal meaning equal. That means all the sides are the same. Okay? Now, these triangles are classified by the type of angle. So that means that these triangles are classified by the side lengths. Alright, copy this down, pause the video to take any notes or to understand things better. Okay, so that's the basics of your preliminary properties of triangles, but we're going to go into a deeper kind of understanding of triangles. So here's our first definition. A triangle is a figure with three sides and three angles. The symbol for triangle is that little delta sign, which looks like a little triangle. So it kind of makes sense to use that symbol for the triangles. It says here now, every triangle has at least two acute angles. This is important. Every triangle has at least two acute angles. One way you can classify a triangle is by using the third angle. Another way to classify triangles is by their side length. So this is one way of classifying it, and then this is another way of classifying it. So as you can saw at the top, either you can classify them by the type of angles or by the side length. And if you really want to complete the complete name of a triangle, for example, this one, you would call it an acute. And since all the sides, it doesn't say anything here, but here, this will be a right isosceles triangle. So you will put the things together. Now in this case right here, since all the angles are acute and all the sides are equal, then we will call it an acute equilateral triangle. So you combine both names, and that would be a more correct way of classifying your triangle. Example number 1. Draw a triangle with one obtuse angle and no congruent sides. Then classify the triangle. Draw an obtuse triangle. So as you can see, they already drew it for us here. And you obviously tell that this is bigger than 90 degrees. 90 degrees would be right here. But that's bigger than 90 degrees. So that is an obtuse angle. Should have different lengths. It says two segments of the angle should have different lengths. So this one seems to be longer than this one right here. They cannot be the same, or else it's going to be a different classification. So the triangle is an obtuse scalene. Scalene, you all saw above, that it means that no sides are the same. So when they connected this here, you see that this is short, this is longer, and this is longer. So by the side lengths, this is considered a scalene. And since it has an obtuse angle in it, the correct name would be scalene obtuse triangle. Or the other way around, an obtuse scalene. Usually we name them first by the angle type. Okay, so this is kind of just a review for you guys. So go ahead and do your got it problem right here. Do this problem, and then go to page 610 when you're done with that. 611, I mean. Page 611. Now this is going to be a little bit new to you. Classify the triangle on the building by its angles, by its sides, and by its sides. The triangle has one obtuse angle. If you can see it, this right here is your obtuse angle, greater than 90 degrees. And then it's isosceles because you have two sides that are the same. They have the same tick mark, which tell you that those two lengths are equal. Okay, so by that, we go back to your notes and go ahead and do this got it problem there. Classify this triangle shown by its angles and by its sides. So you have to classify it by both ways. Angles of a triangle. Now this is going to be brand new to you. The sum of the measures of the angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. Meaning the sum when you add them. When you add all the angles. So for example here, they want you to add this angle, and this angle here, and this angle here. So they got X angle, Y angle, Z angle. When you add them all up, when you add them all together, angle X plus angle Y plus angle Z is equal to 180 degrees. Now the symbol for angle from now on is going to be the little symbol for angle. Angle X, angle Y, angle Z. So if you add them all, you have to have 180 degrees. And the concept behind there is that since I drew these little lines here, if you were to take them apart, they form a right angle. I mean a straight line. So I'm going to draw a straight line here. Now just pretend that I took this piece off, and I'm going to turn it around right here. So this will be your angle Y. Then let's say we take this one apart and we put it over here. This will be your angle X. And if we took this one and we turned it around, this will be your angle Z. So you should know that a straight line always measures 180 degrees. This whole thing is always 180 degrees. Therefore, if you put all the angles of the triangle here, 1, 2, 3 angles, that's 180 degrees. And that's the reasoning behind this rule that we have here. Okay, so is this very important, very, very important. Make sure that you understand what I just did here, because you're going to be solving equations that's going to involve this, this property. Says here, you can write and solve an equation to determine the missing angle, measure of a triangle. Example number 3. Write and solve an equation to determine the value of x. The sum of the angle measures in a triangle is 180 degrees. That's what you just learned above here. It says here, now let's go ahead and analyze this triangle here. It says that this angle here, angle Y, is equal to 119 degrees. They're telling you that angle X is equal to 43 degrees. And then they're telling you that angle Z is 2 times x. What they want to find out is what x is. So using the property that you just learned, if you add this and this and this together, all that has to equal 180 degrees. Therefore, I'm going to go ahead and work out this problem over here so you can understand me better. So then if I put 2x, which is angle z, let me put them in order. I'm going to start with angle x, 43 degrees, plus angle y, which is 119 degrees, plus angle z, which is 2x. You don't know anything, but they tell you that it's 2 times x. And that should equal this x, y, and z together. This should equal 180 degrees. Now, this should look familiar to you guys now. What we do here is that we need to add the numbers that we can. This we can simplify. So 119 plus 43 would be 162. 62. So this is combined. Now we just need to bring out our plus 2x and then bring down the equal sign and then bring down our 180 degrees. Now this should look familiar to you now. This is a two-step equation. So we leave this alone because that's the variable multiplied by 2. That means we have to subtract 162 from both sides so that this cancels out, and then we only have 2x equals 180 minus 62. That brings you down to 18. Now it becomes a simple one-step equation. We divide by 2, we divide by 2, the 2's cancel, bring down the x, and that should equal 18 divided by 2 is 9. So the value of x is 9. Now that doesn't mean that z equals 9 degrees. It's the z is 2 times x. So basically what you need to do is multiply 2 times 9. So let's do it over here. We know that z is equal to 2 times x, but I'm going to substitute 9 into this. So z is equal to 2 times 9, which equals 18 degrees. So z is equal to 18 degrees. Now the question asked us to solve for x, which we did. But then, if we wanted to find the measurement of z, since it's 2x, you substitute the 9 in for x, and you get 18 degrees. So z is equal to 18 degrees. So here we go. All right. Make sure that you understand the blue hint lines here so you can see exactly what we did. Okay, I think that should be enough for you guys to be able to handle this one right here. Okay, in this one you don't have a picture, but you do have the angles. It says angle ABC. In angle ABC, the measurement, this means the measurement of A. So let me write it over here so you can see, so you can understand what that means. M angle A. The way you read this is read as the measurement of angle A. So the measurement or the measure of angle A. So here we go. In triangle ABC, the measurement of angle A is 25 degrees. The measurement of angle B is 107 degrees. And the measurement of angle C is 3 times x. So this looks very similar to that. Write and solve an equation to determine the value of x. So then you're going to write your equation like we did up here. Remember to make it equal to 180 degrees. And then just follow the steps for one and two step equations like we have been doing the last 2 weeks. Okay? So let's go to page 612. Here, the Alabama state flag is the Alabama state flag is shown. Write and solve an equation to determine the value of x into a triangle. Okay, so there right now we are looking at this triangle right here. So it's important that you identify what they're talking about. We are learning about this triangle. Now you know that this plus this, all that has to equal 180 degrees. So that's what they did here. We start with 5x, says find the missing measure, write and solve an equation. So we got 5x here, plus 110, plus 35, that should equal 180. Now here, they combine like terms, 110 plus 35 is 145. Now we have a two-step equation here. We subtract 145 on both sides, and we end up with 5x equals 35, a brand new equation. Now we divide by 5 cancels, that means x equals 7. Okay? Now if we really wanted to find how many degrees is, you just substitute the 7 in for x. 5x, 5 times 7, that would equal 35 degrees. So that means that this angle equals 35 degrees. Okay, I think this is simple enough. You should be able to handle everything from here on out. We'll go over it again in class, so to make sure that we fill out anything that you did not understand. Thank you.